Today we check out the Trijicon Credo 2 to 10 by 36 and what wonders it has. Is there supposed to be an intro or? Hello and welcome once again. Today we're checking out yet another Trijicon product. This has been a hell of a month for Trijicon and me, and I can't really complain about it. This one actually comes from the way of myself. You see, I am looking for, if this hasn't been brought up in any other videos, a very particular scope for a very particular rifle, for a very particular purpose. I also have a very certain type of parameter that I need to withhold to, because the gun this is going on is my Steyr Scout in 308. And if you're unfamiliar with the Steyr Scout, it has a flat top rail. So with my rings, I could really probably push it to about 42 millimeter as a front objective, and 30 millimeter tube. I'm trying to keep the weight as low down as possible. And I want the lower end of the magnification to be no more than 2.5, preferably 2 or even less, and honestly no more than 10x. I want to keep the glass hopefully in a realm that will not upset it. And unfortunately, you might find out this doesn't do exactly that, but that's what I really want. And this scope is going to be the first one kicking off this sort of series of this, I feel, really practical magnification range. I will, of course, be talking about that more as this video goes on, so without further ado, let's get started, shall we? On paper, this thing sounds absolutely perfect for what I'm looking for, and at about 25 ounces is pretty lightweight as well. It is a first focal plane scope, and it features the MRAD precision tree reticle, which I actually really like. At lower magnification, as you see here at 2x, it might be a little bit finite and delicate, but the reticle and the illumination work really well together to give you a very usable product at lower magnifications in fairly bright environments. Anyway, increasing the magnification here to 10 will reveal this beautiful reticle. It is so simple and elegant and has the very fine center dot, which I absolutely love for any sort of precision shooting. The drops are very clearly labeled, and you can use this thing for basically anything you could possibly imagine without ever having to really touch the elevation dial, which is nice. Illumination here on full is pretty good for the type of scope that this is. It's a little bit brighter than what you'd find in most 5 to 25s, and that's great for, again, me and the purpose that I have for this rifle. Another nice feature of this thing for me personally is the capped windage turret, because I'm not really gonna adjust for windage if I'm trying to set up for a very quick shot. You got this beautiful drop tree, you might as well use it and learn holds. And because it's first focal plane, you never have to worry about figuring out where to hold for what magnification at different distances and different wind speeds. Honestly, the turret is a little on the soft and mushy side for my liking, and it's not audible enough.
Trijicon Credo 2 to 10 by 36. I have this as lined up as I can. It's still slightly canted to the target, so as you can see all the way down at 6 o'clock at 10 mils, you can see there's a little gap where the reticle is slightly to the right of dead center. This scope obviously doesn't have any side focus, so this is as good as it's going to get. I got the reticle as sharp as I can to focus to the camera, and everything else is what it is, which here at about 35-ish yards isn't too bad at 10x. If we back out to about 4x, you can see the image looks surprisingly very good. So one of the side effects of having this optic. Max illumination looks like that, and that's it. So we're going to go up and to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 4 mils left, 5 mils down. Our windage seems to be tracking flawlessly. Our elevation, as you can see, is 0.1 of a click off. So let's reset our windage. All right, so reset the windage to 0. You can see we're favoring the right side of that line like I was explaining earlier in the video. Let's continue down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, with the windage, that 0.1 of a mil off is just me not being able to line this up much better than what it is. It's a very crude system the way I have doing this, so that's as good as it's going to get. But our elevation is 0.1 of a mil off. But if we reset this to 0, like there, you can see that the reticle itself is 0.1 of a mil off. So at least the turrets are tracking properly to the reticle in the scope, not to the target. So, but it's only 1%, so it's not too bad.
It's still a little annoying to see some manufacturers not be able to get their reticles properly scaled. You've seen it here on numerous scopes. Everything gets put in the exact same location. Nothing changes except for the scope itself. And like that, you saw it's 0.1 of a mil off from the beginning. But at least it tracks well to itself, which means that if you dial up for your 0 and you learn your dope, as long as you're using the scope itself, it'll always be the same. Anywho, we are greeted with this absolutely beautiful sunny day. Focusing our attention on a 30-yard power transformer, we bring it all the way up to its maximum of 10x, and the image becomes very soft. I slowly back out to about 6x and then bring it all the way back to 2, just to give you a little better idea of how it is on the in-between magnifications, because I oftentimes don't really showcase how an optic is in the middle zone. Illumination is on full, and like I said earlier, it's on par with most higher magnification scopes, but it's still not terrible in the grand scheme of things. Yes, even though we're at 2x, I could still pan across the power lines, and you can see there is very little distortion there. So at least you know you're having a nice flat image here at 2x. The 2x performs exactly how I want it to be. It's big, it's bright, it's open, phenomenal field of view, and you don't see that much of the scope body, which is nice. But let's increase the magnification at slightly longer distances now and see exactly what we get. Oh dear, oh my. We have a big bowl of mush. Mush is great if you're eating cream of wheat or oatmeal, but not when it comes to the sharpness of your image through an optic. Here at 10x, everything looks horrible, but I back it out to 8x and it looks significantly more improved. This is the image quality that I was really hoping for at the top at 10x. That brick building's around 400 yards. That tree line's around 150 to 200, really depending on where we're looking at it. And this is what I wanted to see. But 10x just falls apart. It falls so hard on its face, and it actually drives me mad because this thing could be so close to being great, and it just trips and just face plants in front of a crowd of people at the Olympics. It's just like, what are you doing? Some people have actually recommended on forums, oh, well, adjust the rear eyepiece. The rear eyepiece, people, for those of you that don't understand, which I'm going to have to make a video on, is only for the sharpness of your reticle to your eye, not the image. It's a story for another time. 30 yards and 800 yards. Here, at about 8x, the image again looks great, but once you bump it up to 10, you punch through it, it falls apart everywhere. I understand that, there has to be some sort of limitation with this optic, given its magnification range and the fact that it's got a fixed parallax. I understand that. But what you don't understand is that some manufacturers can do a better job with even harsher restrictions, kind of like SWF and their ultralight, which we're going to get to in a little bit. You'll see. Not in this video, but in the coming weeks. It looks so good at 8x, but bumping up to 10 I can't believe how hard it falls. But enough of my ranting. Let's see how this does in lower light environments. It is clearly well after dusk. It's around 8 p.m. at the tail end of the summer, and the image is pretty dark. That's to be expected given the fact this is a 30mm tube and a 36mm front objective. And there's clearly some sort of difficulty with the glass inside, but who really knows? Anyway, at 2x here, the image is okay as far as resolution goes. You can easily make out a lot of the finer detail in the power lines and towers in the background, and that's great. Illumination here on full is also very nice. Do I wish it was a little bit brighter? For some closer engagements, maybe, but it's really not that bad. And there next, the sharpness, the clarity just falls to pieces. And if you were trying to take a longer shot at higher magnifications at any time of day or night, it's going to be challenging. You are going to be challenged to see your target clearly, and that's not what you want. No matter what the situation, no matter what the use is, you want to always have the sharpest image possible. Now, granted, if you are buying a very budget-friendly optic, $400, $500, $600, that's your maximum that you're willing to spend, okay, you can 100% acceptably take a loss somewhere. But this is $1,000 plus, made in Japan, high quality Trijicon name, and it's just, it shouldn't be this. I know why they probably did the focus the way they did, because they want the 2x to be really good, but I kind of wish the 2x wasn't as good as it was, so the 10x could be brought up a little bit better. But it's just not the case. Kind of like what Vortex did with the Razer Gen 3. The 1x was okay and the 10x were okay. They could have made either one better, I bet, but it would have greatly taken away from the other extreme. Well, see, maybe the image quality gets better at 10x the farther out you go. You only went to 800 yards. Well, here we are at 1,000, and I beg you to find something in that tree line. Anything, anywhere. Even that light pole, that's probably about 900 yards away. It looks horrible. I'm pretty sure the BSA Suite 17 that I reviewed many years ago looks better than this at 10x. In fact, you know what? I'm going to roll in some footage to prove that it is, in fact, better than this thing is at 10x. But after I add 10 mils of elevation to see if it does anything to improve upon the image. No. But it also doesn't make it any worse, so I guess that's not really as big of a negative as it could be. God, I forgot how bad the BSA Suite 17 was, but at least here at 800 yards, with the slight side focus that it had, it still produces a better, sharper image at 800 yards, so there you go. Alright, I digress. That might have been a little bit too insulting for the Trijicon, but I still made a very valid point. If this Trijicon Credo had a side focus, it would be perfect for what it is. There's no other word for it. Now, I'm not saying it's the best scope in the world, no, but when I refer to something as being perfect, it is perfect in the realm that it exists in with the feature set that it has, meaning this is a 2 to 10, supposed to be a very lightweight, very compact, quick, easy to use optic, and it would be absolutely perfect for that. But it's just not, because I don't care what make, what model, how much it costs, it should be usable from the minimum to maximum magnification everywhere. And speaking of that, here we are at my home away from home, the 50-yard line at my local range, and again, at 10x, it's just not great. Once I back out the magnification again to 8, it is a much more acceptable image, albeit 2x less. Let's see how well the Eyebox is on this thing. We start, of course, at 2x and work our way up. At 2x, the thing is phenomenal. It is very forgiving. You can get 1.5 feet plus behind this thing and still have a pretty decent look through it. Once you get right on top of it where you're supposed to be, you have about a good 1.5 inches of leeway forward and backwards before you start to have some pretty serious shadowing. But you could still be off to the side in either direction and still have it be more than usable. I bumped the magnification up to 5x and it's still not too bad. I would say it's about on par with what we saw from the Credo 1 to 6 first focal plane. At 4x, which is about on par with what we should have. It's still fairly easy and quick to get behind. And as long as, again, this is all fairly irrelevant considering if you have a really good cheek weld, it shouldn't really matter that much anyway. There's also nothing really exciting to say about 10x. It's usable. It's definitely on the tighter side compared to the rest of the magnification range, but that's how it is with basically every other optic out there. It's nothing to write home about. But again, with a good cheek weld, as you've seen, doesn't matter what magnification range you have it set at, the eye relief does not change, which is the most important thing. Now see, you might be saying to yourself, I have no problem using this thing between the powers of 2 and 8x as long as I have a clear image. Because again, it's a first focal plane reticle, and if it's a little bit blurry above that, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't affect me. In which case I say, awesome, great, I'm very happy for you. But I can't live with that because it's like buying a very fast car and having the throttle limited to 75%. You're never going to get the full potential out of it. And that just bothers me. If I can't have everything, I'd rather not have it. I'm actually going to expedite this section of the video and get into my final thoughts, even though we're almost 16 minutes into it already. I'm very disappointed in this optic because it's, again, so close to being really potentially phenomenal and perfect for my goals. But regardless to whether it was perfect for my goals or not, this thing could have been, again, like I said, perfect for itself. But it's not. Do I recommend this? I have a really hard time because, again, it's blatantly unusable from 8 plus X. And that's a lot. You're talking about 20% of your magnification range is almost unusable. However, from 2 to 8, it is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It is as much of an optic as I would have expected this thing to be. But here's the thing. For a little bit more weight, I could go with the 1 to 8 and have a perfect 1X and a perfect 8X with better turrets that are locking better illumination and arguably maybe a lesser reticle, especially for precision, because this reticle is phenomenal. It's so close. But it just falls so far from the top that I can't honestly recommend this to anybody unless you are perfectly fine with its shortcomings, in which case, again, I'm not going to disagree with you. It is what it is, and I'm very happy for you if you could be happy with it. But I can't. And with that, that's going to really conclude this. I'm going to do a little bit of ambience at the end, maybe mix in some Half-Life sounds, which I think I'm going to be forced to do from here on out. And that'll be it. So without further ado, thank you all very much for watching. See you again next time.
What is that stench?
Don't tick me off, Gordon.
Sorry, I'm leaving now. Yes, this all looks nominal. What the hell is going on with our equipment?
It wasn't meant to do this in the first place.
It can't get any worse than this.
Don't bet on it.
I can't hold on much longer. I've got to get out of here.
And a very huge thank you to all of my Patreon providers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to help support the channel but don't want to join my Patreon, I completely understand. But you can still help support by using my affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for watching.